All right, we're going to start our little practice sheet. We're going to draw these fish, and each one is going to have a different technique that we're going to go over together. So what you're going to do is first you're going to trace this onto your piece of watercolor paper, like I've done here. You're also going to label each technique and make sure when you trace, don't trace it really dark. You don't want those pencil lines to really show. And you can kind of see how light it is. That's more of a normal pressure up there. Okay, so all that's traced. You also want to tape your board, your paper down. It's called stretching your paper. Tape it all the way around, all four edges completely 100% all the way around. If you fold over the end of each piece of tape, it's much easier to grab later on. So that's a nice little tip as well. All right, in my paints, I'm going to get up close now so you can really see what's going on. In my paints, before I even do anything else, a few minutes ago, I took some clean water and just dragged a few drops of water in each color. This first one I'm going to use purple. And so all I did, wait a few minutes, let the water soak into the pigment, then just pull some out and put it over here and pull out a little more. You want it to be fairly opaque. It's okay if you can see through it a little bit to the white of the palette, but you want it to be watery. If you were to tip it up, you can really see the water moving around. It needs to be like a puddle. It should not be a dry kind of thing going on. Really have some water in there. That's an important part of this first one. And this first one is going to be a flat wash. So this is going to be just off camera. Okay, you'll see me go to it many times. You always need some paper towel. Okay, have that by your side as well. We're going to use that. And to create a flat wash, we're going to try to get the whole thing to be just that same color. So the color you mix up, you need to make plenty of it to fill in this whole fish. Don't worry about the fins and the lines and the eyes. We'll deal with that stuff later. And if you can tell, I'm going to lift the board because you're going to see how the water flows in that direction, but we control that. Now with my brush, I'm never going to go into my water again. Okay, I'm going to wash out my brush and I'm going to wipe it here. That's kind of just taking the excess moisture out. But I'm never going to go back into my water because I would need to use the exact same color the whole time. That's why you have to make sure to make enough. And it doesn't take lots of paint to fill in this. So you're going to try your best to stay right inside the lines of the fish. We're going to start at the tail. If you're right-handed, I would do it this way like I am. It doesn't have to be super dark, but the trick is, see this heavy area right there, that water? If I were to lean it much too far, it would drip. That's what you want. Never run out of water and paint in your brush. And you don't have to hurry with this. See that leading edge right there, how dark it is? That's what you want. And back here, it's nice and flat. Also, the trick is never go back up here and paint. Always just paint out here at the edge. And I need to get into that fin right there. And start going up into the top fin. Okay, so you can see, I went back for more in my brush. The leading edge is nice and dark. That's where all that water is collecting and rushing down this way because remember my board is tipped. You never want to tip your board the other way and let this go in that direction. So again, I only go to my puddle of paint that I made a minute ago. Okay, see that heavy bead right there? That's what you want. And generally, you kind of go across. It doesn't matter if you come down this way and pull it down this way a little bit, but I'm keeping that heavy, thick, darker bead of color. Never, ever, ever come close to running out of water and pigment in your brush. This won't take long, but there's a trick at the end right down here. So I can keep going as long as I know I have plenty of moisture, water right there, and some moisture in my paintbrush. So I'm going to pull that down, pull that down. Again, look how flat it is back there. Don't go back and paint up here at all, ever. We want this to be a completely flat wash. If you accidentally go outside the line of the fish a little bit, it's no big deal. All right, now at the end, we don't want to have this dark tip at the end. So now I'm going to go to my my paper towel, soak up all the water. There's going to be a slight bit of water in there, but most of it's gone. And we're just going to use this like a little siphon, a little straw. It's going to pick up. I'm going to go back to my paper towel and pick up a little bit at the very tip. See how it's kind of getting lighter? I'm just kind of picking up that very tip out here. And if you're doing it the other way, you'll pick it up at the tail. Don't touch. Don't touch. Just going to pick up, just kind of keep picking up. The water is still going that way. It hasn't dried up yet. And now I'm just barely touching it. You can see it's a little bit darker down here. But if the paper's still wet, I can just still barely touch it. I'm just barely touching it. As much as possible, you want it to be a flat tone without any edges in there. Now I'm going to kind of lay it flat. And there's so little paint here now. It's okay if it kind of just goes in there and melts into the rest of it. But it's still a little bit wet. Let's try to get some shine. Oh yeah, see the shine right there? It's wetter here at the tip than it is at the tail. But that's okay. That's because that has had more time to soak in. All right, that's all there is to that one. Again, don't play with it. Now, we'll have blow dryers in the classroom. Once the shine, let's try to find this. Once that shine kind of goes away, then you can blow dry it. But blow dry it kind of gently. You don't want to hit it too hard, too fast, and be too close with the, if you're really close with the blow dryer, it'll make one spot dry faster than the others. So hold the blow dryer back a little bit, keep it moving so it dries the whole thing evenly. And that's the first one. That's our flat wash. That's an important technique to know. So I can just lay that flat and let that shine go away that you can see right there. And when it does, again, I'll blow dry it. Off to the next one.